The realities of homesteading, Belle. It's messy. It's ugly.
We can't really call it homesteading here.
We have 11 children. Obviously, that's a whole season in itself. We have every age group, I feel like, represented in our house, except we don't have a newborn right now. But we have a 1-year-old all the way up to a 19-year-old, and it's a lot. Wow, do you think it's cool that you're 17 and you know how to make butter? It's like it's 100 years ago.
Yes, they were all using electric blending.
I'm really, hear my heart here. I'm not trying to say it's bad. It's a real thing that you carry when you're pastoring people. Oh. Look what just came in the mail. Hold them very carefully. Oh, what a pretty color.
I love that. You should keep them.
Good morning. I got a call this morning from the post office. Our ducks came in. So these are the ducks that we actually really ordered, what we got the supplies for. It's just that we got anxious and bought some ducks from the store as well. So that was a week ago. Now we have ducks that are brand new, and we have ducks that are a week ahead. Look at, that's 1 week difference, guys. What in the world? What in the world? What are we gonna do?
Okay, these ones
I don't think they can live together. Okay, so now we gotta watch closely and make sure the bigger ones don't hurt the little ones. They're not like trampling on them or something. And if they are, we would have to get a second set of equipment. Not cool. Maybe I can get a tiny heater and a tiny water and a tiny food just to get by till they're closer to the same size. These ducks are so comfortable with Nessa because we've socialized them daily. So cute, she's snuggling up for warmth. And Nessa doesn't mind.
Oh,
I mean,
I think it was this one that they forgot to dip. They dipped their
show where the water is?
Yeah.
So far so good. When they bring them all over here, we'll have 11 in total. Oh boy. I mean, are we duck experts now?
Yeah.
No, definitely not. Well, they're all checking each other out.
Okay.
Are they gonna be nice to each other?
Okay, I'm gonna hold on. Then they all live together! They all live together, right? Because one, they're babies.
They finished off their food last night. We gotta work on that.
That man likes the black ones.
Let's let them get used to their home.
That man likes the black ones because he's really likes black. Same as I. Back today.
Wow, it's like we have a legit farm now. In the city.
So now we have 12 animals.
Now we have 12 animals. Can you even believe it? Okay, we just have one that's being real aggressive. We took him out for a while. It's that one.
Yes, he's really aggressive.
The one we call Batman.
You love him. Now don't.
He's always been aggressive with the other 4. I mean, the last week. But now he's really pecking at the new babies. So we'll have to keep an eye on this situation here.
Yep.
So far, our experience with ducks has been they are much easier than I thought they would be to take care of. Before we met about a year ago, I guess. Yeah, when the rest of these guys were in Kenya. I was with my sister-in-law Jill, and I met one of her friends in Colorado who's homesteading and doing a lot of animals. And I'll never forget, I told her I was nervous about animals because I feel like Nessa's been hard, our dog. And we've maybe not done the best at training her. It's just been, it was hard. She said, oh, dogs are way harder than most farm animals. So you gotta, you know, do your chores with them and then they're good. It's been really true. I'm amazed at how easy they are to take care of. That is compared to puppies. Baby ducks compared to puppies. Way easier. Oh no, she just watches. So Judah's on his way out of town, but he had good news yesterday.
Yep, I finally passed my mortgage test. So
Yay!
I can get licensed.
The licensed mortgage, what do you call it?
Mortgage loan originator.
Oh, okay. Okay, here's what Micah worked on this morning for a while. It's a city. Which city is it? He just made it up.
Yeah.
Very cool. Lots of kind of buildings. And here's what Tori did this morning.
It always gets stuck.
So cute. I love it. Good job. All right, today's video was not really meant to be about the ducks, but who can help it? Maybe no one else thinks it, but they are so cute. I cannot stop. I think they're so cute. I can't stop looking at them and talking about it. They're adorable. It's been a few hours since the new ones came. Everyone seems to be getting along well now. Thank goodness I had to run over to Tractor Supply to get some more food. We left our duck food at the farmhouse because we always leave things at the wrong house. And so I just got a big bag to keep here, and I noticed there that they had a little kit, like a chick starter kit with the heat lamp and small water, small food thing for a pretty good price. So we have one duck that's a little aggressive. He's with the first batch, and he was aggressive to the other ones in the beginning. He's still, he goes after, especially there's one male in the new batch, and we know what the new batch is. So we know it's 5 females, 1 male, but it has a rubber band around its leg. So I'm assuming that's the male that they marked it for us. And the big duck, the big black duck we have, is really aggressive toward that one little one. And the funny thing is they look the same. They both have the mask look and everything. Maybe we think that big black duck is a male, but maybe that's just a guess. But maybe he doesn't like looking at himself in the mirror. The younger version of himself. I don't know what. So we're keeping an eye on him. I may go get that cheap little kit and move them into like a tote thing, a storage tub. Move just him out for a little bit if I'm nervous about them surviving the night. But mostly he just kind of aggravates them, like with his beak. I don't know that he can hurt him that much. He's not stepping on him or anything. Anyway, I worked on kombucha today. This is my second batch and it doubled. I gave the SCOBY a week break, which helps it stay strong, is what I was told. So we have a double batch now because it reproduces itself each time. So we have 15 bottles that should be ready in 3 to 5 days. I have some frozen fruit down there that I tried to thaw some first. And I put just a tad bit of sugar again in it. And these should be fizzy bottles. The last time, which was the first time we ever did kombucha all the way through, they were so good. They were better than store-bought. I'm working on it it's a fermented tea, basically, fermented black tea. So I'm working on making them because they're a lot better for you than the Diet Coke that I like to drink. And it is going to be a great replacement. Let me tell you, it has caffeine, it has that fizz, and it's really good. It tastes good to me. So I'm so excited about that. It's just a process of getting like a good supply going all the time, because you do a week ferment on the big jar and then you give it a break, your SCOBY, so it can get nice and strong. So now I have 4, so in a week I'll have 4 ready to go. So I think I'll work on doing 1 batch of 2 every week, 2 gallons. So we'll see, maybe get to 3 every week and we'll get a cycle going. So that's going well. I'm ordering my groceries right now at Sam's. I don't feel like walking all the way through Sam's, but I really wanted to talk to you guys today about a topic. Let me see if I can make a camera stand. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, that's better. It's a lot warmer by this fireplace. 2, it's a cold, dreary day here and my hands are just cold. I can't get them warm. I wanted to talk to you about rest and being overwhelmed, overtired, overstressed. I have been feeling that way the last few weeks for sure, and I just realized maybe some of you are too. It's actually a topic I would have liked to sit down and talk to you about with Solo, but he was not able to be here. And that's some of the reason probably I'm overstressed and overtired. We've just had a crazy few weeks and we're in a transition season, which I can tell you more about that in a second. But because of that, I know that this is a season that is not necessarily just gonna end when the week ends. It's like, it's gonna be us for a little bit. You know, we go through these seasons. You guys, if you're adults, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, where you hustle more. You just have a lot more on your plate, and then you're doing it maybe for a purpose where you know it will get better. I know when I started my YouTube channel, I was doing 5 videos a week and learning how to edit at the same time. It was a hustle season for me, and it lasted a year, and then I was able to back off slowly on videos. Now I just do a couple videos a week, and I have an editor that helps, and whew, but I have so many other things too. And so we go through these seasons that just are hard, but you know they will come to an end, or you'll reach some goals and you'll be able to back off or whatever. So we are in a season right now. We have 11 children. Obviously, that's a whole season in itself. We have every age group, I feel like, represented in our house, except we don't have a newborn right now. But we have a 1-year-old all the way up to a 19-year-old, and the amount of work that is required with all different ages, it's a lot with all the ages. For one, maybe the middle kids are probably the easiest in a manner of speaking of how much time and effort and energy kids are taking, or take from the parents, or need from the parents, I should say. But yeah, the older ones, they have a lot of things going on. So they're running to work, or they need a ride here or there. This morning, or last night, our plans were thwarted because Judah had a flat tire, like a totally busted tire, and then Solo went with him to try to find a used tire, and they couldn't get the rim off. They had to go buy tools, and so he had planned to work all evening and was not able to work at all. Even Judah had plans that he wasn't able to do, and then this morning he was trying to get out of town, Judah was, so I had to drive him somewhere, and then Belle had to drive him somewhere, or try to get this car fixed so he can get out of town with his friends that are waiting for him. This is like the story of our lives all the time now. I feel like I had to drive Luka to work so I could he doesn't have his own car, but he's 16, but he works, and this child kisses me 25 times a day minimum. Thank you, Seth. That was so nice. Anyway, that's what it's like when your kids are older. So don't think if you have just little kids that it just gets easier. Like, there's more things you're running around with doing all the time. Belle works a lot of dinner time. I really don't like that. She's a host at a restaurant, and she likes the job. She's also working for Solo, so she has a couple jobs. She works for my parents a little too, but I don't like that hosting job, only because it takes her away from dinner time all the time, so it's hard to find times when we're all together lately. Between all their jobs, there's just a lot of running around, and the little ones obviously require a lot in a different way. And so the biggest reason that we're in a transition, okay, our family is first priority, is number one for us, and that involves homeschool and all of those things. But then the second thing is we pastor a church. We're the lead pastors of a church, and that is a lot of, I would say, like a mental and emotional burden, because you're carrying burdens for other people. So it's just a leadership role that you carry with you constantly. So whether it's taking more time sometimes or less time, it's always, I'm really, hear my heart here. I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm just saying it's a real thing that you carry when you're pastoring people. And so that's another layer. And then Solo has his finance business that we decided in the last year and a half, I guess, to expand, and it will eventually take a lot less of his time. But we're in a season of transition where it's taking a lot of his time as he's growing the business, taking it more nationwide, and getting a lot of people on board, because he helps people with his finances. He loves it. It really is a ministry. It has changed so many people's lives. We hear from people all the time that he's helped so much, and we really feel to take this much broader. And so we've been working on that for about a year and a half, 2 years. He has. And right now it's like getting to the point, it's like, I told him it's like we're in labor, like labor pains have started. And you have to go through labor to really launch it, to give birth to it. Does that make sense? If you've been through labor, you might know. I feel like we're in the beginning of labor. And it's hard because he's working all day at the church, and then he works a lot in the evenings and weekends, and just every moment he can, he's trying to train other people and really get his vision for helping families with their finances into so many other people, and helping them get trained. So this will be a process, and it will take some time. And I guess I wasn't mentally prepared for him being gone so much. I also have the YouTube channel. I'm trying to launch a course. I got all these things. And we've looked at our plate many times wondering, should we take something off or whatever? But we really feel like we're doing what we should be doing. It's just a season of a lot. So I know there's a few things that we look at, and that's why I wish he was here too. But especially me as a mom, when I'm home with the kids all day and things are not going as planned, and I don't have the time I thought I would, and all those things, it can be very overwhelming and very stressful. And if I am overtired, overwhelmed, overstressed, and there's a few things that we do together as a couple to really help in seasons like this. And there's a few things that I do myself as I'm running the household day to day. So as a couple, let me start there. One thing we do looking at the big picture of our family is we try to think about, are we resting enough? Rest is something that we know is so important. We've always known this, but we've really, really tried to focus more on making intentional times of rest. You would be amazed if you've tried this. Maybe you know it is hard to find time to rest. Like, it's active work to make time to rest, if that makes sense, in our culture today. You have to often really work hard to make yourself rest. You have to say no to things. You have to make sure you get some things done so you can just stop. You have to just stop, which is hard to do a lot of times when there's so many things calling your name. So we try to make some time at least every day to rest. That can be hard. It can be the very end of the day. Sometimes I think we stay up too late because we're finally done with everything and you get a chance to rest. I know some of you feel me on that. And sleep is so important, but you need time when your mind is resting and you're not worried about anything or concerning yourself with anything day to day. Then also, we try to look at time every week. We really try to take one day off. That has been more difficult than it sounds, but we really try not to schedule anything. Seth is talking to himself. I mean, he's saying the alphabet and working on worksheets. But we really try to make time every day and every week. So one day a week where we rest. Like, don't do the regular stuff. Just relax. Do what you feel like doing, laying around. Sometimes you feel like working and then you work and then you regret it later because you should have rested. So that's one thing. And then what Solo and I have been looking at is we really need to take more breaks, like getting away. Not only do we need to get away as a couple, which we definitely don't do enough. We've done a few weekends or during the week, like 1 or 2 nights here and there, but it's been a long time since we even did that. I would say probably 1.5 years. It's not good how often we do that. We definitely need to do that more. But also we have to get away with our family because our kids can feel some of that stress and they also need breaks. So we do feel, although vacationing is not necessarily restful in that manner of speaking, it does help just to have a change of pace, change of scenery, walking away from the work, you know. That helps a lot. So we've been thinking we need to try to get away a little more often, maybe once a quarter instead of however we're doing it now, which is maybe once or twice a year. Just up that a little bit. Maybe we should be looking at every day resting, every month rest, every week resting, every month resting, but we're not there yet. But maybe eventually we could take a couple days a month. That would be nice. But it is important to be intentional about that. So that's something we've been looking at together is like, are we getting enough rest? Personally, I know what helps me the most is really fighting for getting enough sleep. That's not always easy when you have a baby waking you up or teens that need to talk about something important late at night. That's the interesting thing about having all ages of kids is we definitely have both spectrums of the daytime and nighttime hours that kids need. Oh, that's me. Okay, well, I was talking to Solo who called me about something about selling our house, which is a whole other thing we got going on right now, moving, building. Oh, that's the other thing that's transition season. Forgot to mention that one. I just realized it's time to get Luka, but Belle's out, so she's gonna go get him from work. Whew, so lots of moving parts here. Anyway, but what I'd like to do is when I really am overtired, overstressed, overwhelmed, I like to try to get back to the very, very basics. So reminding myself, okay, what is really important here? And to me, a lot of times the basics is just cleaning up because when it's stressful and chaotic in our house, I don't know if this happens in your house, but you can get really messy and then that does not help with the chaos in your own mind, you know? So I just start, like, let's reset our house. Let's make sure everything is picked up and put away. And for me, I like to put on worship music, just something calming or something that I love that we dance to, whatever. Just kind of reset the whole mood. You know, some days you just feel like you need a reset anyway. Going back to the basics, stopping whatever we're doing if possible, and just picking up everything often will help me so much. It helps me mentally, where I felt like, oh my word, I have committed to too much. This is it. What life choices have I made? I'm done. I know you've all been there. For some reason, for me, maybe because I'm very visual, when it's all cleaned up, I start breathing normally again, and I start figuring out, or thinking like, oh, I could do this now. I could do that. The basics is sitting down with the kids and doing school. I might clean up the house first, but doing school. I have no problem with convenience. Sometimes we just need some convenient meals for a while or something quick and easy, but sometimes I just need to make dinner. So I think it can be different days. If it's really messy, it's about cleaning the house. If we have done too many chaotic dinners and leftovers, and it's making a good, nice meal that doesn't take too long to clean up, and just being able to have a great meal that maybe even makes a couple meals worth, so it will provide for a few days. Or just if it's the kids going every which way and they can't play outside because of the weather for long or whatever, it's everybody sit down, let's focus and do school. I usually can identify pretty easily what's gonna make me feel the best, but sometimes I do have to take a step back and think, okay, it's very overwhelming and chaotic in this house. What's gonna help the most right now? I have to literally ask myself that, and then I do that. For me, a lot of times if I get just the house picked up, then I can make a checklist. And checklists help me, helps focus my brain when it's going this way or that way. Like, oh no, I need to do this, 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 this. And I'll even, if it's really chaotic feeling, I will order them and number a priority so that if I don't get to number 6, it's okay, because 1 and 2 really needed to be done, and I did those, and I'm gonna be happy about it. So having a lot of grace with myself, reminding myself that it's a season, is not gonna go on forever, and getting back to those basics and making sure those basics are taken care of. I really want, at the end of the day, at the end of my children's childhood, I want them to look back and just not remember a chaotic, stressed out mother or a chaotic, stressed out household. I want them to look back and just having loved their childhood. So some days for homeschooling, if they're playing well and everything else is kind of a mess, I'll just let them play for a while, and I'll just start cleaning up and just working on my own mind and my own attitude and getting back to a good place. And they had a great time playing. This morning we did some homeschool, but they are also playing right now, and I've been working on my house, and I feel a lot better than I felt a couple hours ago when everything was chaotic. So those are just some of the things I do. I would love to hear what you do when it feels like really overwhelming for you, when life feels very overwhelming. What are some of the tricks you have? I would love to hear if you work outside the home. What are you able to do in the time that you have at home to make it feel less chaotic? I think that would be really interesting. I actually find it way more chaotic when I'm out of the house a lot. If I have to run errands without the kids or even with the kids, things are not getting done at home. And I notice if I'm home more, everything is running more smoothly because I am running things. And my kids do a great job taking over, or I'm helping babysit or clean up when I'm gone, but nothing is quite like mom being home and running the household. And so sometimes things can be a little more chaotic when I'm not home a lot. And that's why I'm really interested in some of the tricks you have for getting things back in order when you're out of the house a lot. So anyway, I have some milk to process and a little more cleaning to do here. Maybe I'll show you a little of what I'm about to do with 12 gallons of milk. And while I'm headed to do that, let me just add one more that is huge. I work actively not to compare myself to others when I'm very overwhelmed or stressed out, overstressed. Comparison is about the worst thing I can do, because I'm also not feeling great about how I'm juggling everything. So if I'm comparing myself to somebody else's highlight reel, especially like on social media, I can feel like I'm really, really failing. So not comparing myself to them. Everybody has seasons that are tough. Everybody has days that are rough. And wow, someone's having a rough day right over here. Not comparing sometimes like you have to really just delete some apps or make yourself just look away for a while. Who's being mean?
Noelle.
All right, last night I drove to our farmer nearby, who's not really near because it's a 40-minute drive, and I picked up 12 gallons of raw milk. You see the cream line? That line right there that's all cream, that's milk. Cream,
They
milk.
said the green line. I was like, why is there a green line in the milk line? That's probably not a good thing.
Ooh, this is so good. All this represents goodness. However, the last 2 weeks, when I picked up the milk, it was warm. They had just finished milking. I always warn them when I'm coming and ask them, hey, can I pick up about 24 hours before? Tomorrow night, can I pick up 12 gallons? And so they always make sure there's milk for me. So I happened to come and they had just milked to get enough for me, and it was warm. And because of that, it's happened 2 or 3 times, I think, that we've gotten warm milk. And I noticed every time it goes sour really fast. We do have a 40-minute drive home. So I think it has to do with not chilling it quick enough. So I think if that ever happens again, I talked to the farmer this last night when I was there. And he's like, yeah, that's for sure what's happening. He's like, take the cold stuff if you can, which there was no cold stuff last time. But I think next time if I get warm milk, I'm going to freeze a lot of it, if I can find room in my freezers. So anyway, today, what I wanna do, it was all cold last night. So I don't think I'll have that problem today. Once in a while, one will go sour, which you can do a lot of stuff with sour milk. It's not that, it's just that we don't want so much sour milk because we can't do that much with it. So today, sometimes I leave the cream on it and just mix it in. We've done that a lot, but it's been hard to get butter around here lately, like limits on butter, that kind of thing. And butter's expensive, so it's gotten a lot more expensive. So I'm gonna take some of the cream, most, not all, of the cream off the top right now, of all of them, and I'm gonna process it into butter and make some sour cream out of that, and then freeze a couple jars because it'll be down low enough that I could freeze it without the glass busting, just to see what it's like. He told me that he has several customers who freeze it, so I'm gonna try that as well with a couple of them. And maybe 3 or 4 of them. I don't know if I can fit it in. And what else? Oh, I may get some yogurt started with some milk. Yeah, we'll see. I love that there's so much you can do with raw milk. You can do a lot with pasteurized milk too. I just never, getting raw milk opened my eyes to all the things you can do with milk at home easily. Which I did. What's that? What is it? I just don't get it. Which I just didn't even, I didn't even know all those things you can do. In fact, I think sour cream would be easier to make with the store-bought pasteurized cream because I'm having trouble getting it thick with raw cream, which I read is a thing. It's a lot easier with the pasteurized. But anyway, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna keep trying. Sometimes we just let the cream just sour and then we use that, but it's not quite the same taste.
That's a lot of milk.
It is a lot of milk, but we always have this much. We just don't usually put it all over the counter. So the longer I let it sit in the fridge, the heavier that cream gets. It gets to the point sometimes where it won't even come off the spoon. It's just like a solid, very solid, which is cool. Maybe I need to leave some of this a little longer. Here's an example of a really thick one. Look at this. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Talk about heavy working, huh?
Mom,
This was a jar from before that we didn't get drinking. Drinking? It's not sour though.
it's not sour.
It will get sour real quick. This one's just gonna be sour.
Milk.
Yeah, you wanna drink this? This one we gotta drink right now.
Yeah. That's not good.
So I put some of our milk over here after I took some of the soured milk, because I didn't even show you the milk that we didn't use up last 2 weeks. So we had 14 gallons, really. I put some of that soured milk here to clabber, all of it really, and this is just going to sit here for a few days, and then when it gets hard, I'll cut it up, and then I'll heat it on low and slow for oh boy. Is everything okay there? Yeah. Okay. I'll heat it low and slow, drain out the curds and the whey out of the curds, and that will be cottage cheese. So this just sits, does nothing but sit. All right, Belle did my labels. We've got yogurt here. It's just Scotch tape. And then yogurt, cream of sourton, sour cream, and the sourest of cream. They're all sour cream. Let me just film you being a homemaker, learning skills. Wow, do you think it's cool that you're 17 and you know how to make butter? It's like it's 100 years ago.
Yes, they were all using electric blending.
Oh, that's true. Your arm would be hurting a lot more.
It got even more
Yeah,
liquidy
there.
than before.
It's done.
It's done?
Mm-hmm.
How's it done? Oh, my
Butter.
Wait, the butter's already done?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was telling Belle I keep watching people online use butter paddles, so I'm gonna see if it works.
goodness. What does that entail?
It's like squishing the butter. I have no idea. Oh yeah, you do get more buttermilk out. Well, that's good. The buttermilk in it makes it go bad faster. So pretend I know what I'm doing. We want to squish all the buttermilk. Oh, there's quite a bit more. See, I thought I had gotten it all. What do you know? It does work. I made a stick of butter. Are you impressed?
Yeah.
Salt the butter. Paddle it in like a professional. We got some buttermilk on the camera. No big deal. Oh, and I accidentally threw the buttermilk down the sink. Did not mean to do that. Usually we save it and try to make like pancakes with it. Oh well. I really look like I don't know what I'm doing now. Yeah. And I made a big mess. This is the realities. The realities of homesteading, Belle. It's messy.
We're not
It's ugly.
We can't really call it homesteading.
Oh, I thought that was the baby hugging my legs. It was a dog.
Baby's not awake.
She's still in bed. I was wondering who got her out. Wait, come taste test my butter. Just take a pinch.
Mom, good night. Mom,
Too
good
salty?
night.
A little bit.
Mom,
I had a feeling.
good night.
Can you? Sure. Just lick your fingers. Whoa, you already had some. Whoa, okay. Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, here's some butter. This will last us a day maybe for a good breakfast for everybody with bread, homemade bread. It's very good. That was just the top of 2 milks, and I should have saved the buttermilk too. That would have been more food. He's licking the butter off the counter, the remains. Next, I'm doing research online because I have this buttermilk starter culture that I'm wanting to use to make sour cream. Trying something new. Just like using fresh ground flour is different when you're making bread, and it's important to know the differences. I find the same to be true when using raw milk. It's different. So although I have a culture, I'm looking up online to see how to do this culture specifically with raw milk to make raw cream, sour cream. Always learning, right? Always learning. So she has a suitcase and a guitar. We'll travel. We'll play for money. Okay, speaking of which, 2 other things that help a lot when overstressed and overwhelmed is to just do something that you enjoy. For me, right now, it's all these homesteading projects that are fun, learning new things, especially because it feeds my family too, so it's like 2 birds with 1 stone, and also laughing with my children. That helps. Today I've been able to laugh a lot. That always helps. Are you silly? Are you easy to laugh with or at? Oh boy, and then sometimes you give up. I have to pasteurize a little milk and then start a mother culture that I keep up every week. This is why I don't do sourdough. I'm not keeping anything up right now. My kombucha, keeping up my kombucha. So I think I'm gonna go back to just trying some yogurt in the cream and try that again. We've had 1 batch that turned out amazing. It was like way better than store-bought. And some that just have not been as good. So I'm gonna keep working on that. Hey, pivot. You gotta pivot sometimes. If you're at a place of overwhelmed, overstressed, I hope that you are able to find some peace and joy in your day today and just get to a good place. And maybe I'll show you some more baby ducks. Maybe that will help. Baby ducks help. Ducklings help everything. Hope is obsessed with human babies and duck babies, it turns out. Are you guys getting along?
Oh, the other ones are so big.
The boy one. Ugh. It's that one, the one that has the tag.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Look.
Oh, wow.
Daddy,
How old are these ones? 2 days?
Just a couple days, yeah.
Mhm.
I think they were born 2 days ago, yeah?
Daddy.
Wow.